Good day, everybody. I am Lois, your friend for forgiveness from Walking Without Skin, and I use the acronym SMILE to describe what I do. I'm a speaker, a mentor, an inspirer, a learning facilitator, and an empowering coach. And today I am representing MO2VATE magazine, that is MO2VATE. MO2VATE magazine is an online and a hard copy business magazine. So to get hold of a copy of this really fantastic publication, you can visit motivatemagazine.com. As a wannabe photographer, I admire people who can turn this both into an art form and into a business. And I'm so happy to be able to welcome a photographer who does just that, Amanda Hall. Hi, Amanda.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yes, very well, thank you.
Great. So Amanda comes from, or she was born where I live in Johannesburg, South Africa. And where are you now, Amanda?
I live in Essex, so I'm just outside London. And I've been here about 30 years now.
All right, fantastic. So tell our viewers, how did you get into photography? What got you started on this journey?
Well, to those that haven't read the magazine, it really all started with my grandfather, who's from the UK, and he used to come and visit us and go to the game reserves and take photos, and we would see these slideshows, and I just felt kind of inspired by the images and just by the whole mechanics of the camera. And I was always very creative at school, so when I left, I went to art college with the intention of doing fashion design, but I sort of like was drifting towards the photography department more and more. And I finally did my art degree as photography as my main degree, and just sort of learnt the art of it all. It was back in the days when it was just film and developing, so the digital side didn't really come for another 10 years really.
And how did you manage to turn this into a business?
Well, I am a mum, so during the 10 years after I qualified, I did a lot of work that was photography related. So I worked in retail, I worked in advertising, and I worked in sales, sort of like publishing as well. And it was all very much connected to photography. And then about 20 years ago, I had my oldest daughter, and I decided to not go back to work. It was more a case of like not really getting the right kind of childcare. So I thought I'd spend more time at home with my daughter. And like any new parent, I would take pictures of my little girl, just seeing her change as she was growing up. A friend of mine sort of got in touch with me and said that she needed some pictures of her 2-year-old daughter for a modelling agency. So I started taking pictures for her, and word got round, and it kind of sort of snowballed from there. This was just before, it was in the time just before social media was like a big thing. The internet was still in its infancy, so it was more word of mouth in the local area. And I was doing more of family shoots, not so much newborns at the time. It wasn't a big thing, but it was more to do with family groups, celebrations. So yes, that's how it all started for me, and I've never looked back since.
How do you feel about everybody now has a camera on their phone and everybody thinks they're a photographer? How does that impact on your business?
Yeah, initially it was a bit sort of daunting at first, but I think, to be honest with you, even though the quality of the phone cameras are getting better, it's nothing quite like a good quality camera that I have can produce such fantastic wall art. So every home should have a wall art of their family, or any kind of landscape photography. So you'd never get the quality that you get in your phone And it's nice to have. I support all. I mean, I'm a big user of using my camera on my phone for documenting, you know, sort of ideas and everything, and also just really taking snapshots. So I've no issues with it, but you just don't get that quality that you would with your DSLR.
But the average person probably can't even see the difference in the quality. What do you feel about that?
I think you'd be surprised. If you go and get a print of you do like a big 10x8 print of your child jumping in a swimming pool, or and you compare it to a digital SLR camera, you will see that the quality will be very, very different. It's just very much slightly blurred. What also, the DSLR captures things a lot quicker than the mobile phone doesn't always necessarily do that. Although they are improving, I do believe, but
in this digital world, everybody keeps their photos on their computers and on their phones and on other digital media. How many people actually want to get huge big prints that require that quality?
You'd be surprised. I think the thing with family photography and that it's a timeless sort of timeless piece to have, that documents your family, that will be there forever. So you'd be surprised how many people do come to me for their family photo shoots.
Well, I had a look at your web and there are some beautiful examples of your work. But tell me a little bit about this picture.
Yes, this was baby Summer. She was born about 3 months ago. And there's a little sad story to it, but it's also a happy ending to it, because she had a brother about 5 years ago who was actually my first client, my first newborn client. And unfortunately, a year later, due to a short illness, he passed away. So I was really happy to find out that they had a little baby this year, and she reached out to me and said, could you take some pictures of her and her baby? And she was absolutely gorgeous, absolute model baby, did everything I wanted her to do.
Well, talking about that, what are some of the problems you have with children, with child photography?
Well, with newborns, it can be if the parents don't prepare what I'd send them out before the newborn shoot, they're either wide awake or they're just doing all their toilets and that. So it's all down to preparation, but I am baby led. I won't force the baby to do anything they won't do. So if they don't want to do it, I'll move on to the next thing. With little ones, it's a case of just being really silly and just grabbing their attention and just going with the flow. I spend a lot of time working with kids anyway, so I'm kind of used to all their kind of mannerisms, and just trying to get in and just get down to their level, really.
And how long does an average baby shoot take?
In most cases, it can be anything up to 3 hours. For me, at the moment, I'm trying to sort of cut it down to, my sessions are about a 1 hour session, give or take. I know now I've narrowed it down to how many sort of setups that I want for the actual session. And I know that there's a few parents that just want to sort of like not be there for 2 or 3 hours. It does get very hot in the room, so they want to get it done and move on. So I try and narrow it down to an hour, and they get just 5 images from it.
And you say you do a lot of family events and occasions and gatherings. What about pets? Are there ever pets in your pictures?
I've done a few. I did a first birthday party, not a first party, but a first birthday shoot where they included their family pet. I have 2 cats, and I'm forever trying to take pictures of them. And that, so it's a challenge, but I'm willing to give it a go. But it's not something. It's not part of my niche work. And that, so.
All right. So what you also do, you do corporate and you do headshots.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So tell me about some of these.
Okay, so I work with mostly female entrepreneurs who have their own small businesses and are reaching out to their ideal clients by making themselves more present, more authentic, and give them a bit of confidence to show who they are and what they do to their clients. So I prepare them, we work through a workbook, and then we sort of like find out about their business, find out about their brand colours, and then we can sort of like find location to do the shoots and everything. And this was done a few months ago at a really fantastic co-hosting place in Bishop Stortford in Hertfordshire. So I also arranged to have a makeup artist as well to come along for the session.
Yeah, sometimes we need those.
Yeah.
And this one?
Yes, this was also done. Sometimes I offer twice a year. I do like mini headshot sessions. So for those that just want to get a little bit of a taster for personal brand photography. So they just have like a half-hour shoot with me, and we do some like very simple corporate headshot that they can use for their social media or for their LinkedIn profile or for their website.
Yeah. And then this one has a story. Tell us about this one.
Well, this was done during lockdown last year. So she got in touch with me. She was looking to have her website updated, and she contacted me. She lived down in South London, and went all the way down to her, did all the usual personal brand shoots, and just somewhere in her garden. This was taken in her garden, and I just thought this is such a lovely sort of like leafy backdrop, and I just wanted her to sort of like describe how she felt about her business and how she feels and that. And so yeah, we just sort of like did some happy shots, leaping up shots and that. So yeah, she's a very confident woman as well. So that's what the story behind it as well is. Just it helps my clients to feel like that they've got that confidence and they can reach out and speak to their clients.
Fantastic. You mentioned that you also do online photography, digital photography. How does that work?
Well, this all started during our first lockdown last year. I am mentored by a photographer called Gillian Devine, and she was sort of like keeping the morale going for all of us photographers. As you know, it was very difficult for us to not be able to meet with our clients face to face, and she came across this idea of doing virtual photography shoots. So we started off with people that had Apple phones, so you could do through FaceTime. So I'd work from my desktop and connect with someone's mobile phone, and we would just communicate by me giving them instructions how to sit, where to pose and everything. It was just hilarious because you're trying to explain move your left shoulder, but it was actually your right shoulder, and it was just like it's very hard. You can't mirror that sort of conversation, but it did relax us. It was a very sort of like fun session, but the whole idea of it really to sort of keep a presence in your business and just have a short-term solution for your social media content. So as the time went on, we found an app called it's gone out of my head, but it's a really fantastic app that would work that gave a much better quality, so you could work both with Apple phones and Android phones. And again, you would work through my desktop and communicate on the other person's mobile phone. I'd only have access to their camera, and the beauty about it was we could work outdoors as well with it. And I even had the opportunity, I was in Poland at the beginning of this year, and I connected with a business lady local to me in Loughton, and we did a photo shoot from there. So from Poland to Loughton, Loughton to Scotland. So I've been all over the place. So it's been really lovely. It's a great experience, but it's suitable for really only for short-term solution and for your social media purpose.
Fantastic. So now, any secrets? Do you Photoshop? Do you do any post-productive work?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I have Adobe Photoshop, so yes, I do use some of the little processes. I have a fantastic program on Photoshop that will help sort of clean up some of the things on the babies, because sometimes their skins are very sort of rough or they're very blotchy, so I can just smooth it out a little bit. If certain things like family shoots where maybe you have someone with a closed eye, I can just about tweak it by swapping heads and things like that. So I am mostly able to do that. It's thanks to YouTube, I've been able to use do all these kind of processes. But I wouldn't be without my Photoshop.
So you can get rid of some of my wrinkles.
Oh, I try not to do too much. I need to keep it authentic. It's more for the babies, so.
So Amanda, why and how does photography bring you joy?
I think it brings me joy in the sense that it's a memory. It's for the memories, really. I think that's why when both my grandparents passed away, I've inherited all the photos, and it's just nice to pass on to your families, just keep the memories for the next generation. So that's what photography is to me. In terms of for corporate businesses, it's just a good way to communicate in a visual sort of sense rather than in a written way. I've always been a visual person, so and that's what it means to me.
Great. And what next for you, Amanda?
Well, I am continuing to grow my business. I have the vision to one day have my own garden studio and have a proper studio, invite more people to have their photo shoots done. But yes, I'm just going to keep growing and keeping presence, and find me on Instagram, or you can find me on Facebook.
So how do people find you? What do they search for?
Well, they can find me on my website, which is amandahallphotos.com. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn. So,
well, everyone, I do suggest you go and have a look at her webpage. There's some fabulous pictures on there. Certainly will inspire you. Any last words for our viewers, Amanda?
I would say don't put off having your photo shoot done. Now is a good time, because you'll miss out if you're a business person. It's good to get people to notice you, and if you want to get some clients in, then now's a good time. Don't delay. Don't make excuses.
The only problem with really professional headshots is you never look like your photograph.
No, I don't doctor it or anything. You'd be surprised, but yeah.
I had some professional shots done, and I don't look like that. I look far more slick and sophisticated in my photograph.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend you contact Amanda, get some professional shots done. It really does make a difference to your image and your portfolio. So Amanda, any final words before we say goodbye?
No, thank you. It's been lovely to have a chat and talk to you, and tell you all about my business. I'm also very good at able to travel to people. So if you're in central London, I'm happy to travel to London. I can move around the country. I can go abroad, maybe come to South Africa.
Well, when you come, give us a call. We can set something up.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching us, for listening to Amanda's story. She really is a fantastic photographer. And do go and get MO2VATE magazine. It is stunning. There are such inspirational stories in it on all walks of life. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a great day. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you very much, Lois. Lovely to meet you.
And you. Bye.
Bye.